bill to the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. I call the honourable member Todd McClay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure to rise and speak on this bill, the Income Tax Universalisation of In-Work Tax Credit Amendment Bill. And I want to start by paying tribute to Materia Turia, because I do believe that she has brought this to...
Order. I hope it wasn't deliberate. Pronunciation is a very important thing, and some people do have difficulty with it, but I would hope that the member does his best. Call the Honourable Todd McClay.
Yeah, no, I apologise. It wasn't intentional. If it was intentional, it would have been much, much longer than that, but I thank the member opposite for correcting me on that. So I want to pay... yeah, it must be my accent, exactly. I want to pay tribute to the member, Ms Touré. I apologise. Touré. Hooray, I got it right. To Ms Touré for bringing this bill to the House. And the reason for that is I do believe she has brought it here with good intention. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, it's not something that the government can support, and the reason for that is we don't believe that actually what she wants to achieve with this legislation will actually achieve anything close to that. You see, the government is committed to investing in ways to eliminate child hardship and improve the economic and social well-being of individuals and families and of communities. And we're doing that through supporting families and individuals into work, and importantly recognising those families who do work. And I think this legislation would blur those lines about what we need to do in this country, what is achievable, but those who deserve support to be able to do more for themselves. You see, the welfare reforms that we've introduced and the measures that we're taking to support New Zealand families will ensure we're getting New Zealanders off benefits and into work where they are much better off. And I challenge members of this House to find examples of where families who work are not better, every member of the family being better off. On this side of the House, we're committed to fairness and an unrelenting focus on work, and we're focused on what people can do, not what they can't do. And it's what New Zealanders voted for at the last election, and it's a commitment and a promise we made and one we're delivering on. You see, Mr. Speaker, the bill from the Green Party, well, from a member of the Greens, seeks to pay people to stay on benefits rather than supporting working families. And I say that again. It seeks to pay people to stay on benefits rather than supporting them into jobs and to work. There's a very important difference in the philosophy between the two sides of the House. You see, the current in-work tax credit offers an incentive for people with families to gain and retain sustainable employment, helping ensure a better living standard and secure future for them and for their families. And evidence suggests that the most effective way to achieve a long-term sustainable reduction in child hardship is to address its causes directly by encouraging and helping people into work while continuing to provide support in the shorter term. So you see, Mr. Speaker, this is about making sure that we support those, and absolutely as a society, as a government, we must support those on welfare who need the assistance of their society, but we also need to take responsibility to help them to do more for themselves and for their families. And I don't believe that this bill will achieve that. Evidence suggests that the most effective way to achieve a long-term and sustainable reduction in child poverty is to address its causes directly by encouraging and assisting people into paid work while continuing to provide that support in the short term. Now, I want to touch upon some of the things that we have been doing in this area, because the issue of children, how they're raised, what support's available to them and their livelihood around them is extremely important to us in government, and I do take that it's important to all members of the House. Where we're different is the approach to how we combat this problem. The government's committed to investing in ways to eliminate child hardship and improve the life of individuals and families and communities, both economically and socially. And some of the changes that we're putting in place currently through this House to welfare reform are a step in that direction. The Ministerial Committee on Poverty is working through a number of issues critical to improving the lives of low-income New Zealanders and their families. And this committee, Mr Speaker, is focusing on ensuring the government is getting results from the billions of dollars it spends on a wide range of social services. I say it again, the billions of dollars that it spends on a wide range of social services. We're only able to commit and spend that money, Mr Speaker, to support New Zealanders who deserve support, because hard-working New Zealanders, other New Zealanders are out paying their taxes, and where we can encourage people and help them into the workforce, they and their families, their children are better off. The government's invested in increasing our knowledge about the nature, extent and persistence of material hardship amongst families with dependent children in New Zealand, and we're committed to continue making progress on eliminating this hardship where it exists in New Zealand. Now, I hear members opposite saying, where are the jobs, where are the jobs? Well, we're hearing that a lot, but 60,000 jobs were created by this government. 60,000 jobs have been created. Members opposite might not like that. Members opposite may be disappointed by that, but the cold, hard truth, the fact is that jobs have been created. What we do have a challenge with in this country is people who don't have the skills to be able to fill these jobs as they are created. And it's a very important piece of work the government's doing to look to support them, to help them, to bring more skills to them, to give them confidence and at the same time skills so that they can find their way to the workforce. We don't make no apologies, Mr Speaker, for saying that families are better off when a member of their household works, and it's an overarching ambition and a challenge, and the direction the government's going in is to help more New Zealanders to the workforce. Look, again, I come back to where I started, to the member who has sponsored this bill. I do recognise that she is concerned about hardship of children and families in New Zealand, and I think there are many areas where we will be able to work with other parties in this Parliament to find ongoing solutions to these problems. Unfortunately, Mr Speaker, I don't believe this bill is one of those solutions, and therefore the government won't be supporting it. Thank you.
Speaker.
I call the honourable member Jacinda Ardern.
Mr Speaker.